times 3 different men could be the father on paternity court.
3 men on her job. This is a mess. This is a mess.
Yeah.
How many people you gonna sleep with at the same job? When are you working? Don't you ever feel like that. Do you hear me? Don't you ever feel like that.
No normal person would want to duck and dodge their desired firstborn. But when there are 4 fathers in the mix, paternity doubts are meant to be. That is why Mr. Terrell is in the TV courtroom to end this messy saga once and for all.
Happy, I'm like, dang, man. My first child ever, you know? I'm even talking about marrying this girl. So I'm like, all right, we had a couple of days past. She telling everybody on Facebook, like, oh, I'm pregnant. 3 different guys hit her up, like, oh, is it mine? One is the dude she fool around with. So I'm like, what's up with that, you know?
3 different guys.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, baby mama had too much man wrapped around her finger. Still, Miss Holliday claimed that the defendant knew about her past dealings and that showing all those messages was his way of playing victim. But the judge found this pill a little hard for Holliday to swallow and proceeded like this.
Different men asking, am I the father? What is going on, Miss Holliday?
I cheated with TJ one time with an ex of mine. TJ, he doesn't want to be responsible. He doesn't want to be a parent. He doesn't want to take care of his responsibility. He's trying to throw things out to try to make it seem like he's a perfect person. He doesn't want to step up and be a responsible person.
While the woman was testifying, the alleged brought up the boat incident in which the plaintiff herself confessed to swindling with the man waiting to be summoned in the courtroom. However, this wasn't the only uncomfortable story told, as Mr. Terrell told Judge Lake about the car guy, and FYI, the list of men claiming her baby.
Men making inquiries as to whether they're the father of your child. I don't understand this.
The third person that TJ is talking about, we went to the room, and yes, I was getting money from somebody, but as I'm getting this money, collecting this money from different people, he doesn't have nothing to say. Why? Because I'm taking care of him with this money.
That is just nasty, people, and adding a kid to the whole situation. Where's your conscience? Up next, Mrs. Terrell was brought up to the podium, and she claimed that she knew that the defendant was fishy. Her doubts got confirmed when she was dodged by Miss Holliday into conversing with some other guy posing as her grandson.
Now, Miss Holliday, I have to ask you, do you know this person that got on the phone with Miss Archer and said these things?
Yes, I know this person.
He said he was kicking it with you while Mr. Terrell was at his grandmother's. Why would the guy say this at all? At that time, he didn't even think he was talking to Miss Archer. He thought he was talking to your granny.
Miss Archie continued with claiming that her family had very strong genes, and the baby looked nothing like them, and that mama at the podium was a compulsive liar. Nonetheless, it was time to give the plaintiff's witness a chance to speak. Let's see what he has to add to the case.
Thank you for joining us in your relationship to...
This is my daughter.
What do you know about this?
The 3 men, TJ knew all about all of them.
After she told me, after my son was born.
TJ took
Before
them.
your
Yes,
After my son was born.
The crazy
your
one,
son was
the
born,
crazy
you knew
one,
about them.
TJ talked to him all the time. What's up, man? How's this man, this.
It was about time to get to the other man in the courtroom, and the guy entered quite raged up, as he could not believe how his ex-lover had ghosted him and left out the child's life, even though she knew that there was 50% chance of him being the father.
What did you say to her at that point?
I said, well, what happened? She said, I cheated on you. I was like heartbroken about it.
Miss Holliday, do you remember this conversation?
No, I broke up with Devin in June 2011. I got with TJ July 2011. He's saying I hit him up and I'm with him in December, but she's saying I'm with somebody else in December.
Object, Your Honor.
After getting humiliated and scorned by both men, baby mama regretted walking down the infidelity road and hoped none of the men in question were the father of her son. But only if wishing changed things, life would be so easy. Let's go ahead and get to that result.
Mr. Terrell, you are father.
Miss Bosley wants her son's name off of the birth certificate because she's sure her son didn't father Miss Jackson's baby, and she can prove the messing around of the young lady with 2 other guys.
My son made a terrible decision by signing a birth certificate. You know, basically, I just feel like we need to know because I don't want my son to have to go through life wondering if this is his child or not.
So you feel like you got to save your son from a mistake he made?
I do.
By watching paternity court this long, we know how serious signing the birth certificate is, but the alleged baby didn't, as he thought he was doing the right thing, even though he doubted it. However, the baby mama claimed that Mr. Bosley was the one who wanted a child in the first place.
Almost immediately start a sexual relationship
Correct, Your Honor.
and start talking about having babies?
Correct. At first, I didn't believe it because I heard it once before. So
Yeah,
when
because
hear
you
things-
know that's what men will say
Yes.
just to get you to lay
Yes,
down
Your
with
Honor.
them.
Yes, Your Honor.
They make it sound like they want to have a family,
Yes, Your Honor.
but they saying it to everybody.
Miss Jackson even confessed that she made a mistake by falling for the sweet talk of the mama's boy and then cheated around on him. But confessions don't get you out of paternity doubt, now do they? This recklessness got on Judge Lake's nerves badly.
Why y'all don't have no business, young, running around here using sex like it's like an extracurricular activity.
So the couple was only 1 month together when the whole paternity saga began, while Miss Jackson had no shame for her game, and she told the court loud and clear how she had been messing around with 2 men at her job. Wow, the woman was doing everything but work.
This is a mess. This is a mess.
Yeah.
How many people you gonna sleep with at the same job? When are you working?
That's why I'm here. This baby
Right.
is what matters. Clearly, this situation here, nobody knows anything. All they know is that they were just sleeping.
It was quite clear that the defendant had something deeper going on than just sleeping around. Run to men like phone booths? Why would you give it away to men so they can treat you like trash and drag you around? This girl seriously needed a reality check, and this is how it went.
3 men on her job. There should be no young woman out here sleeping with 3 men at her job. And that's why I'm like, what's going on here?
I feel like, Your Honor, it goes a bit deeper than that.
No,
I have
it's
women
deeper.
out here sleeping with men on their jobs a bit deeper than
Oh,
that. I don't
no.
know what it is.
Yes, Maverick is 3, and how is his father? Well, this mystery was getting harder to solve with every passing second. He was the one paying for his mother's daddy issues. Time to end things for good.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Bosley.
50 Shades of Messy are set in paternity court because there's no love in this story. All this couple is doing is cheating, blaming each other, and putting on a good episode of reality TV. But before we get to that part, let's see why the plaintiffs had brought this bitter half to the court.
I do not believe that the
is not
son that
correct.
she bared 9 months ago is mine.
So you are firm on that belief?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
You say that she's a cheater.
Yes.
And how do you know that?
Well, it all began when we first met at a water bowl. I thought I'd met her at love at first sight. Up until the 6-month mark, she had informed me that she had actually slept with my family member.
So the guy got married to the woman who cheated on him with his family member in just 6 months of a relationship. Quite smart, I must say. But in his defense, he waited almost 2 years to pop the big question. So they had a good time, but things went downhill.
She had actually slept with her ex-husband, Justin, and this was the day before Valentine's at midnight. We went to go see 50 Shades of Grey, so we had a wonderful night.
It turns out that the couple was doing everything. They were going on date nights and watching movies, but the only sour part in their relationship was the stepping out of the marriage part. But Miss Fetters claimed that he was quite honest about her infidelities, and she was no liar. Quite generous of you, woman.
To the movies and have a good date night, and by the end, you're in the bed with your ex-husband?
He didn't want to
That
be
sounds like a
sexually
real
active
wife.
with. I was over it. He gives it to other women, but he won't give it to me.
It was further revealed that Mr. Fetters was cheating as well, yet he still took his wife back. Their relationship wasn't altered at all until the pregnancy kicked in, and just the husband brought the cheating part back.
Tells you she slept with her ex.
I loved her so much at the time that I was willing to forgive anything that she ever done just to be able to keep her and have her in my life.
And so how soon after that did you start having sex with your wife?
The next morning, actually. It was or not the next morning, I'm sorry.
The next day.
It was that morning of, Your Honor. It was about 11 o'clock that morning that we had sex.
The odd dynamic added to the fact caused the judge to crack. She had a hard time processing how they managed to stay married for so long. And let's not forget they already had children, and the children in question was just another bun in the same oven.
You all went to the movie. I mean, you all are making a movie. This is a full-on movie. This movie is called 50 Shades of Messy.
Now how about that pregnancy part? Well, it turns out that denying daddy was there throughout the paternity, and him not being the father was taking a toll on him.
Like my mom, like the rest of my children. But if he's not, that's not gonna be my responsibility. The other man's responsibility, as a father and a man, to raise his child.
What made the situation worse was that the missus tried to involve her ex-husband in the child's life, which allegedly the baby's father was having a hard time digesting. Nonetheless, it was not about the parents, but about little Kobe, because bickering between these two was just making things worse.
Has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Fetters.
A 22-year-old man is in court with the same longing question. Who is my father? As two men have already tested and have been proven not to be the father, it's time to get the rest of the potentials tested.
Defendant's deceased brother, Mr. Damian Ellerson, is the answer, and the DNA results will prove that today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Fortuné, you claim your brother cannot be the father because Ms. Johnson has admitted to sleeping with other men. If today's results prove he is the dad, he would be his only biological child.
First subject on the list is a deceased man. The man was Miss Fortune's brother, and Miss Johnson even named her son after him. But the defendants had a hard time digesting this, as she and her family had no clue about the young man being a part of a paternity question.
How did you find out that he may be the father of Miss Johnson's son, Damian?
I found that out through my mother. She says possibility that Damon have a child, and so they were supposed to get a DNA. It was like my mom wanted to know, and then my mom didn't want to know.
But the plaintiff negated this fact. In her defense, she had no idea about it. According to her father, by default, was her son's daddy, until the man had Damian tested secretly. And right after the result, the guy gave up on Miss Johnson's son.
He just, left me, just no dad.
So, Miss Johnson, that's what leads you to now believe Mr. Ellerson is Damian's biological father.
Yes.
Because the other two gentlemen are not possibilities.
Right.
Damian himself believed that the decedent was his father, as there was a lot of resemblance between them. But the photos were not convincing enough for the defendant's family. Even the mother of Mr. Ellison believed her son had departed childless.
Don't believe my son is the father of this child. I don't remember Ms. Johnson and just met her some years ago when her son was a teenager. She brought him to church for me to see him and told me my son, Damian Ellerson, could be his potential father. He came over and I talked to him for a few hours or so, and then I never seen or heard of him again.
Tragic, right? But the plot is about to get more painful, as the mommy at the podium has also messed around with her ex-boyfriend's cousin, who doubted he was the father as there was nothing serious between them. Serious or not serious, you still could have created a child.
I could possibly be the father, which I was surprised to hear that because we only had, at that time, it was like 2 times. I was curious myself. She had us take side-by-side pictures just to do a comparison, which
And this is the picture you took?
Yeah.
Damian, I want to know your reaction from that encounter.
The bummer was that the list of paternity was about to get one person longer, as he knows that if these paternity stains didn't come off in the wash, they would surely come off in paternity court. Hold that thought, as some hard truth is coming up next.
It wasn't no commitment call. We'd go over there.
So you basically were having a casual sexual relationship with Mr. Slaughter?
Yes.
What point do you tell him that he potentially could be Damian's biological father?
Around the same time that we found out that the DNA test came back that he wasn't the second one.
I wish folks never have to be in poor Damian's position, as the paternity saga had just begun for him. Painfully, another name popped up on the paternity roll. The good part was that Miss Johnson was confused about being fast and had no idea who the father was, while the young man respected his mother either way.
Nobody else wanted to step up and help my mom out, you know? It's ridiculous. I may be 22 now, just like everybody else. Everybody else wants to know who their dad is. I want to know who my dad is. It just shouldn't matter because I'm 22. It shouldn't matter if I'm 13, 6, or 7. My mom's being a mom and she's trying to figure this out. So these men just need to step up and help her out. She can't do it by herself. She can't. It's impossible. She didn't make me by herself.
Time to get the last 6th guy in the courtroom. Herman's irony is that he only found out about the paternity thing just 4 weeks ago. The guy had been playing fun uncle the whole of Damian's life, not knowing the young man could be his. And this revelation broke the kid mid-trial like this.
Like I'm not as good as everybody else because they all got dads. You know?
Oh,
Don't ever feel
just
like
break my
that.
heart. Don't you ever feel like that. Do you hear me? Look at me. Don't you ever feel like that. You are worth it. You are just as good.
You ain't
You
any
are. Do you understand me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Boy, dad or no dad, this kid was raised up right, but his mother's past ghosts had caught up to him. Time to get that result, and hopefully it will give the mother and son duo needed closure. They clearly have been through a lot, and the judge could resonate with them.
You are not the father. Give me your hand. We're gonna keep going. One foot in front of the other. We're gonna do it. You're gonna keep your head up because you are an incredible young man. You have come here and you have exhibited the type of character that I can only hope my son would exhibit one day.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay?